Hey Meeple people, and on today's vlog, we are going to be discussing Aroma, a game of essence by Organic Aromas. Hey Meeple people, how's it going? And Sarah, what are we discussing today?
Today we'll be discussing Aroma, a game of essence by Organic Aromas, which is probably not a game company that anybody is familiar with, and that's because I think that this is a very clever marketing tactic for a company that primarily makes essential aromas. So they have created this nifty little marketing gadget here, which is a box that contains 20 of their essential oils and 4 different ways to play games that have players identifying essential oils by smell. Ooh. So there are 4 different games in the box, and they range in player count anywhere from 2 to 4 players. 2 of the games are 3 to 4 players. One of the game is 4 players only, and then one of the games is a 2 to 4 player game. They have all different kinds of mini games that are included as well, so that players can determine the first player for the game that they're playing, and those mini games range in sort of mechanics from like dexterity games to racing games, and they're just fun little mini games that you can play to determine the first player for your game. And then the main games are primarily about identifying scents based on their scent. So you'll sniff a scent and then attempt to make a proper identification. And that is like the main mechanic of all 4 of the games that are included in the box. And then you might handle that differently in different instances, right? Like one of them, you get your own section of 5 oils, and it's your sort of mission to identify all 5 of your oils before anybody else can identify all 5 of their oils. There's another one where each player again has their own set of 5, but in this one they know what all of their oils are, and they are trying to be the player whose oils are not identified as fast as everybody else's. And then there's just a couple of other ones, but essentially, like I said, the main thing that all of the games have in common is that you'll be identifying scents based on the oils that are in the game. And there are all different kinds of scents. They have sort of 4 categories for the scents, ranging from floral to plants, with trees and citrus in there as well. And then each one of those categories has sort of like, entries into that category. So in the plants category, there's oils that smell like tea tree, marjoram, rosemary, eucalyptus, and peppermint. With the trees, there's pine and cedar wood. With the citrus, there's things like lemon and grapefruit. With floral, there's lavender and lang lang. And all of those scents are included in the game. And so with each game, there's a little bit of variation on exactly the method by which you're doing it, but essentially you're just trying to identify scents based on sniffing the little bottles, and determining what they are. So there's some fun things happening with each of the different games, and we've played all 4 of them. Nick and I played the 2-player game, the one that can support just 2 players. We played that one together, and then we played all of the 3 and 4-player games with my parents, who didn't want to be in the video today, so that's why we're kind of doing like a discussion instead of a playthrough, like we normally would, because our players didn't want to be included in the video, so we're just gonna talk about the game after the fact. My mom really likes scents, and she has like essential oils that she uses around her home, and she makes her own soaps and that kind of stuff. So she really appreciated the game.
A niche a game that kind of targeted her niche.
Yeah, and she had like just got a kick out of.
She wanted to basically smell them all, and every time we were supposed to pick somebody else, she said, "No, pick me again, or you pick me. Keep picking me because I want to."
She just wanted to smell all of the oils.
I want to smell all of them.
And we knew that when we were talking about playing this game, we knew that we would probably be playing with her. And I said she's gonna kick our butts because she's gonna know all of the scents. And I think she did do better than the rest of us, but it was nice because the game still sort of some of the games still sort of reward players, even if they don't always get things 100% correct. And it was nice for me because I enjoyed smelling some of the scents. Some of the scents are really nice. And it was nice, and it also introduced me to a few scents that I was not familiar with prior to playing this game.
Yeah, I wasn't all the tree scents. I was just like, "What is this?" And it was just an interesting discovery.
Yeah, so it was kind of fun to discover like new scents or scents that like, hey, I'm aware of this thing like frankincense. I'm totally aware that frankincense exists in the world, but I had no idea what it smelled like before we played this game. So that was kind of fun to just sort of discover what some of this stuff actually smells like. And then some of the scents were just really, really pleasant to smell, right? Like I particularly liked the lime scent. That one was really nice. Did you have like a favorite, Nick, that you enjoyed?
I don't know. Lime was nice, but I think lavender was pretty nice, and peppermint. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I really enjoyed peppermint.
Yeah, that's a good one. All the components are really nice.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, they have 4 games in this box. So even that in and of itself is pretty cool. You sort of mix and match the components that you're going to be using for each game. Like, for example, there are these like identifying tags. You don't need these for every single game. I think you need it for like 2 or 3 of the games. And you use these in different ways to facilitate each game. And then the same thing with these sort of tokens here. You don't need them for every single game, but for the games that you do need them for, they're there. The boards are double-sided, and you can use different sides based on which game mode you're going to play. They also include, so the bottles themselves, there's 20 bottles, and they have, excuse me, they have 20 different scents, right? So each bottle is a separate scent, and they're marked on the bottom with a number. And sometimes players will get to look at that in advance, sometimes they won't. But one way or the other, that number corresponds to a scent on this sort of like chart so that you can eventually identify this when you need to. So that was number 3. That's rosemary. So that was another item that they've included. They also had this like first player token sort of thing, and you use this in different ways based on the game mode that you're going to play. It's also used as sort of like it's on the cover of the box, and there's a mini game where you actually drop your colored tokens onto the box to determine who gets to go first. There's another mini game where you stack up these pieces right here, and then you put this on top of them, and then from there you stack these pieces there until the entire tower falls down. And when it falls down, then whatever cube is like the highest on the stack is the player who gets to go first that time. And yeah, so that's pretty much everything that's in the game. They also include these like scent strips, I guess, so that if you want to put the scent onto a scent strip instead of like putting it onto your own skin or something like that, you can kind of get you can smell it off of this instead of directly from the bottle.
And then you have a bunch of, scents on your arms and stuff.
Yeah.
And so that kind of helps there. But yeah, this was definitely a unique experience and kind of refreshing just to kind of see where board games will end up sometimes.
Yeah, it was really neat to see a game that was sort of like based off of your olfactory senses. That's not something that we see very frequently. I don't know that I've ever seen a board game that's related to your sense of smell in the extent that like you actually sniff things and try to identify things by scent. So I thought that was kind of cool. I think, like I said at the beginning of the video, I think that this is definitely a marketing technique, right? They've come up with this to market their essential oils, but I don't think that they, I I think that they actually took the time to try to create some fun games in order to do
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, we had a lot of fun with when we played just me and you, and we were trying to
Yeah,
see
it was
who
fun.
would sniff out first.
Yeah.
And-
So the way we played the 2-player game was that we each got one of these sort of trays, and it has 5 random essential oils in it. And the person who was like responsible for this tray would look at the bottom of their essential oil, and they would identify, okay, this one is number 18, that is grapefruit. So I would find my grapefruit tag and I would put it face down like this. And I would do that for all of mine. So I'd find, like, the next one, I put it down. And then I would hide all of this from Nick, right? So he doesn't know what 5 these are right here. And I would offer him one and he would try to identify it by scent. And if he could, then I'd have to flip it over like this. And then I would get a turn and I would try to identify one of his by scent. And if I could, then I would get to flip his tag over. If I couldn't, then I would just like lose my turn and I'd have to do that one again on the future turn. And then it came down to whichever player had correctly identified all of their opponents first. If you're playing with more than 2 players, then it would be it's an elimination game at that point. So if one player gets all of theirs eliminated, then they're out of the game. And so you're trying to quickly identify other players' scents before they can identify yours. And it was a fun little 2-player game. It's very different than your typical tabletop experience, I think.
Oh yeah, we were sniffing a lot of things, and we're like, this smells nice. This smells odd. And this,
Yeah.
this is not for me.
Yeah, for sure. So it was neat. I think that they did a nice little job putting this together. Everything is excellent quality.
It really is.
They provided, I would say, because they decided to include 4 different games in this, I would say that they included more than they had to right off the bat, right? Because they could have just said, we're just going to do 1 or even 2 games that you can play with these oils, but we're actually going to provide 4. So I think they went above and beyond what they had to provide. All of the stuff, like these are nice thick cardboard. They could have made, I feel like they could have chosen to make
down
things.
a little bit,
Yeah, they
but
could have
they
chosen to
didn't.
make things cheaper. They have these shaped meeples here that are nice. I feel like everything is a really nice quality, and they provided things that they either didn't have to or they provided them at a quality level that I don't think they had to. So I feel like they did a nice job putting this together. I think it's a nice introduction to some familiar and to maybe some not so familiar scents. And
Because frankincense threw everyone through a loop.
yeah,
We're like, what
I've
is
never
that?
smelled frankincense before. And I actually looked it up because I wanted to know what it looked like. And then I learned even more about it than I would have if we hadn't played this game. So it's definitely a very interesting experience. And if you like interesting game experiences, if you like, I would say sort of like plants or nature, if you like essential oils, if you like...
If you feel like you can get your mother-in-law or family to play this that normally wouldn't, it's like, hey, here's a gateway game for them.
Yeah, because all the games were very easy to pick up on. They're all quite simple to play, and they range in time from, I think, probably like 15 to 20 minutes to like maybe 45 minutes. But they're all really easy to pick up on. The rules are pretty simple for the most part. And I think they just went above and beyond everything that they had to do to make this, the minimum amount of quality that they needed to do. I think they went well above and beyond that for everything from like creating the shaped meeples to including like the nice thick player aids, to having 4 games in one. I think they did a really nice job. And my mom, who is a bit of an essential oils buff, said that she thinks that these are probably quite decent quality oil, because their scents are quite true to form. So the peppermint does smell like what peppermint should smell like, right? The cypress tree smells like what a cypress tree should smell like. And she said that you can kind of tell with essential oils whether or not they are of good or decent quality based on how true to their scent they really are. So she said that she thinks that these are probably either decent or high quality essential oils that are included in the game.
High praise.
So everything is great quality, and they provided a lot of content for this game, and it was fun. It was fun to introduce the game to people I thought would enjoy it who did, and it was interesting to play the game and kind of explore some of these scents for myself, and it was neat.
Yeah, this was definitely a unique experience, and
For sure.
kind of like an experience that we can put in our repertoire of board games.
Yeah, for sure. I wish I could do like smell-o-vision and share some of the scents with y'all, because some of the scents are really, really nice.
Yeah, some of them are surprisingly good, and some of them, they're not bad. It's just like, it just took me aback.
There was
like,
one that I did not care for. Elemi. I've never even heard of it. Apparently it's some kind of tree, but I didn't really care for that. It's kind of like mossy smelling. It smells mossy.
Mossy.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know, kind of swampy smelling. I didn't really like that one. Did you have one that you didn't prefer?
Let's see. Yingling?
Ling Ling.
Ling Ling. Not Yingling. Yeah. Oh boy.
The Y is silent.
Yeah.
Which is
but Ling Ling is it was
not your favorite.
Not my favorite.
I really, like I said earlier, I really liked the lime. And then some of the tree scents like the cedar wood and the pine are some of my favorites.
All right. So this was our discussion of Aroma.
A Game of Essence.
The Game of Essence by a
oh boy. I believe it is, hang on, Organic Aromas.
Organic Aromas. Yes. A lot of aromas going on here. So we all hope you enjoyed this discussion of it, and we will catch you all next time. Toodles!